What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about a ticker that I'm looking at for this coming week. I'll show you why. I'll show you my levels, and we'll go from there. As always, this is not financial advice. I don't know how the markets are going to move. This one is a Mr. Zach Morris pump and dump, I think, from way back in the day, but it's actually kind of gaining some steam. It's had its movements. It did its thing. And, I think there's a lot of people that are probably trapped in here from earlier back, following Mr. Morris. And so maybe there's some people trapped that are higher than you that will not be selling and they'll be hanging on. And I want to show you why it's interesting to me. We have some interesting trend lines. We got some gaps. We got some nice levels of support. And this one's going, I don't look into any of these companies. I don't know what their background is. I just look at movement. I look at TA. I look at what moves and what might make sense. Okay. So here we are. White line on your charts, on my chart, is kind of where we start talking about it. What I want to see is if this RSI is going to cool off just a little bit, which would drag it down to somewhere in the 570 range, 565. Now, there's a gap here on the volume profile. So, I could see it coming down to about $5.45, relatively easy, if not a little bit lower to $5.30. I don't know where it's going to pull back to, but as of right now, it looks like it is doing just a little bit of a pullback, and we could have a double top, which might mean that it wants to come down and do what? Yes, you guessed it, test this trend line. So I want to see if it's going to test the trend line. You guys can, just pick 3 points. It's pretty relatively easy to find your 3 points if you're going to chart this out, just so that you can watch it, see where you might want to get your entries. I don't know when it's going to tap it, but I do think with the RSI where it's sitting, there's a good chance of a retest of this trend line before it wants to push. Now, what I also like is the gap. We got a nice little gap right here, somewhere up into about 12.25 range. That's probably where I would be out if it sees that point. Again, I don't know what rmed does, rah medical system, right? Whatever it wants to do, it can do. But I'm looking at it just from strictly technicals. So you got your gap up here. So far, it has kind of confirmed a breakout. We want to see the retest more than likely and see if it wants to push from there. So nothing that I would be like, I got to get in pre-market type of style. I would watch it and see how it moves within these levels. Right where it sits right now, $6.41 in the close of the after hours. So I got a green, yellow, red line. Right, I'd be looking to see if we come down, bounce off the green line somewhere at 570. I'd be watching the yellow line around $4.84, and then the red line around $3.70 to the downside, just to try to figure out where you want to put your footing in if you want to play this, and just play it responsibly. Small position, just have a trading plan, protect yourself to the downside, because like I said, I don't know if it's going to confirm the breakout. If it has broke out and going to continue on, I just don't know. And then to the upside, if you just want to play responsibly, somewhere around that $7 range is going to be psychological. $7.10 kind of seem to be the resistance level. We got another one around $8 psychological. Again, it's just a little bit above there, so $8.10 to the upside. And then we're ultimately looking at that gap fill if it wants to do it somewhere in the $10.50 range. $10 is probably going to be hard to break. It's going to be, again, another psychological level. And then we're going to work our way up to that $12, and I would be gone by a quarter if you see 12.25. But I don't know. It could carry on. We got some decent fib lines that say that it could go higher if it wants to make its bounce back. This is only the 382 line if it wants to pull its way back up there. So, there could be more to the upside. But I just don't really know what they do, or, is there any real reason for them to be trading back in that range? So that's the reason I say I don't look into these stocks. I just look at the technicals. I trade technicals. I don't really care about the fundamentals of a lot of companies unless I'm I'm following them and trying to invest in them more long term. If I'm just scalping or trading channels, then you got the channels. Draw them up. Draw up your supports, your resistance, and just see how it goes. There's no harm in taking a little bit of profits along the way if it's moving its way through those channels, just to kind of take some of your risk off, because I don't know how quick or how soon it would do that. This could be a cup, which makes me also think there could be a handle formed here, which would bring it back down close to the trend line, or maybe one of our green, yellow, or red lights, as a retracement before it wants to decide which direction it wants to go. But I mean, it is trending. It's moving pretty nice. Maybe there'll be several trades in here if if you're actively watching it and trading it and doing your thing. It looks like it is forming out a flag to some degree or other. I don't know exactly how. What way these break. They typically break down, but maybe you'll get another bounce down here in that $5 range, which would push it back up to, say the $7 range, and you can make a decent trade there with, 50% gains or whatever. Just watch your entries. I think the entry is going to be more important than where it goes to. So keep an eye on where your entry level is and how you want to protect yourself. Like I said, if it's 10% of your account or a portion of your account that you're playing with, and you stop out with a reasonable stop, it's nothing I would average down. I would wait till I seen the strength and then catch it back to the upside. So you're just playing responsible. But let's see if we can do anything with this one. I know there's probably quite a few eyes on it, just because it was a call out from quite a while ago from, like I said, Zach Morris had his eyes on it. And it's taken a little bit of a beating, so it's trying to climb its way back up, and maybe it will. So that's what I'm going to be watching, I guess, for next week. One of the plays, I think I have a couple others that I'm going to be looking at as well, just to see how they respond. But probably worth a watch. Anything with a community kind of does what it wants to do. And we do have an Ortex on it as well, if that interests you. I don't know how accurate it is, but live short interest coming in at 4.1%, 88.28 thousand live short interest. Cost to borrow seems pretty stinking high for those kind of numbers, 358.82%, and utilization not maxed out. I don't know. They're just estimates. Don't put this as the gospel or whatever. It's just Ortex, and we work with what we got. So let's see where it goes. But it has my attention for right now anyway, just because the breakout, the possibility of a retest, and maybe a potential push. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. I hope you're having a great weekend. As always, stay golden, people, and may your accounts stay green.